Welcome back to another episode of the Chamber Podcast. My name is Rob Johnson. So we have an update on this show, and really for the longevity of the show, we're going to be updating the name of this podcast. So moving forward, this show is going to be called Community Capital, and it's going to be a podcast brought to you by the Greater Brighton Area Chamber of Commerce. The reason for the name change is we've done almost 200 episodes of this podcast, and it's gone extremely well. But as we look at reshaping and refocusing the marketing efforts around the Chamber, the most important part of the Chamber of Commerce is the members. It is truly the capital that runs that organization. So we thought it'd be fitting to update the name, the brand of this show, which is driven by the members, to Community Capital. Is the Brighton community that we're in and the surrounding areas are truly, the most important aspect of what we do as a chamber. So to kick off this, zero pressure at all for this guy. I am joined in studio by Dr. Vincent McGinniss. He is a physician at Elements Plastic Surgery and Aesthetics. Vincent, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here and being on the first episode.
Talk to me about the transition of going to medical school, working, whether it's for a hospital or for another organization, and then opening your own business. And how did this come about?
That's a great question. Yeah. So, in medical school, they never really teach you anything about business, right? They teach you everything about medicine, well, at least a great foundation. And then you go out in the real world and you start practicing medicine. And there's a lot of different routes that we go. I mean, of course, medical school, then you do your residency. For me, I did my residency in ear, nose, and throat and facial plastic surgery, and went on and did a fellowship in facial plastics. And then what you could do right out of the gates is you could open up your own practice. What I ended up doing is I ended up going to the Air Force and being a flight surgeon for 3 years. So that was actually not as planned, but it was a great experience. I actually really loved doing that. I took care of fighter pilots for 3 years, which was amazing.
How did that happen? How did you? Because
it's like all of a sudden.
Because we're doing this fellowship, and we're doing ENT, and then we're doing
exactly.
Head and neck plastics and all that, and then you're like, I took a quick detour to be a flight medic.
It did come out of nowhere, actually, because at the time there was a need for flight surgeons. I did get into medical school on an Air Force scholarship, and the idea I thought I'd go on and practice being a plastic surgeon, maybe in the Air Force or something along those lines. But before I could even start my internship or my residency, that's right when you finish medical school, then you go on to your internship and residency to learn what kind of doctor you're actually going to be, right? So right before that, they said, just kidding, you're going to go to aerospace medicine and be a flight surgeon. And I was like, great.
So basically you graduate medical school and then you go right to that. So there was no residency?
There was like a little 1-year internship year, kind of just getting a little feel of being a doctor. And then off to aerospace medicine to go take care of fighter pilots. They're like, good enough.
Is that terrifying?
Yeah.
With zero residency or the 1-year internship?
I had to learn a lot. I mean, they still trained us with everything that we needed to know to be a flight surgeon. And as a flight surgeon, you're kind of in between two worlds, right? You're a fighter pilot, you dress like a fighter pilot, you're wearing a flight suit, you're flying aircrafts, and you're also then in a clinic. I think the best way to describe it is it's like you're an ER doctor and a sports medicine doctor and a family practice doctor all in one. Wherever your pilots go, that's where you go. And so if they go to Afghanistan, then you go to Afghanistan. If they go on different things, then you go with them like a team physician, right? So I was kind of like that for the fighter pilots for 3 years.
I feel like it's Top Gun, but set in the ER.
Right. Kind of a neat little mix, right? So I know it's a long-winded answer to your question. So how did I end up starting my own business? Well, initially coming out of the military, then I went and was employed by a hospital system and worked with a hospital for a number of years. And that was really great. I mean, I learned a lot of how to be, at that time, mostly doing ear, nose, and throat surgery. And then that really transitioned to a lot more facial plastics, especially people don't always think about the reconstructive aspect of it. I do a lot of repairs from skin cancers or trauma. And so we repair the tissues, rebuild noses, rebuild lips. All those things is a very important part of plastics that people don't always pay attention to or know about. But the other half of it is the cosmetic side. And we certainly enjoy that part as well, from reshaping noses or doing facelifts or eyelid lifts. And those are really rewarding too, because we want people to look at the way they feel. People sometimes say, I'm tired of looking tired, and I just want to look like myself, but refreshed. good plastic surgery should look natural. It should not look fake or overdone. And so I ended up doing a lot more of that in the hospital. And then I just realized for me personally, my career goals, I kind of just hit the glass ceiling. I felt like what all I could achieve in a hospital system, just different goals or different visions, different outlooks on how things can be done. So I knew I needed to start my own practice and started Elements Plastic Surgery and Aesthetics. And the question is, when you start a business, is where do you start? Where do you want to, where is the location? And I thought about that a lot. And I did my training in Michigan State, so I'm familiar with Michigan. I grew up in Ohio, so Midwest I'm pretty familiar with. And my wife is from Windsor, Canada, so this was really a good transition. We thought maybe Greater Detroit area. We started looking there, and then we found Brighton. And we love Brighton. I mean, we feel like this is a fantastic community with fantastic people, and we fell in love with it right away. In fact, we actually shifted gears. We actually were thinking, we're going to build a home and start a practice in the Greater Detroit area, and we changed plans and moved everything here to Brighton. So we've been here for 2 years. The practice has been open for 1.5 years now and growing and thriving. And I think it's because we've integrated with the community. We do a lot of things with chambers, and we do a lot of things to help the community, help the schools. We're very involved. And I think that part of it has really helped us grow.
Yeah. And where is the practice located?
So we're off of Grand River Avenue. We're in a medical complex that we share a parking lot with the ABC warehouse that's right there. It's right across the street from where the Starbucks is and Panera. So we're right on the other side of the street there. And there's a couple other medical practices nearby.
When you started, what was the most unexpected challenge or most difficult thing to, going from working in a hospital where that ecosystem and support staff and the EMR, all that stuff is built around you, and then you go into your own practice. What was the most surprising or difficult challenge going on? Oh my gosh.
So you have this great vision. You're like, okay, great. I have come up with Elements, Plastic Surgery, Aesthetics. I come up with this cool mantra of Elements, how we want to, incorporate fire to mean stay curious and earth to stay grounded and all these cool things involving the elements. And then we found our location. We found a great building. We did the build out, and I'm like, now the people will come and find me and we'll do this.
Feel the dreams.
Yes, exactly. Build it, they will come. And, the first week you're calling your own phone, making sure that it works.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, exactly. Did I pay the bill? Is it connected? Nope. Okay, connect it. So there's a lot of things that the whole marketing side of things is very fascinating. I actually find it very interesting. I've really enjoyed kind of learning a little bit more about the marketing aspect of things too, and working and picking brains of other people in the marketing industry, because that's an art in of itself. Like I said, I practiced in Ohio for many years, so I didn't have any real connections, and I didn't have other patients to follow. Actually, we do have patients that come all the way from Ohio to see me, which is wonderful. It's still, for them, an 1.5 to 2 hour drive, right? So we had to build that and help people know that we're here. And we built that with word of mouth and by integrating with the community, and we still continue to do that.
What does capacity look like for you as you look at the goals and trajectory over the next 1 to 3 years? And hiring more physicians, filling up your cap? Is it already full? What does all that look like?
Well, it's amazing. We're already growing. We've already hired another person for the front desk. We have our esthetician. Sarah is amazing. She does all our skincare. Estheticians really focus a lot on the skin with the carefully curated skincare line that we have. PCA is a wonderful company that we work with their products. Patients are very happy. We like the results. Or Siligen's another company, for example, that we use for scar gels and things. So she'll help with the skin aspect, but not only just that, but also keeping the skin hydrated, doing facials, doing microneedling, all these things to stimulate collagen. Did you know that we actually lose 1% of our collagen every year starting in our 20s? So it's hard to catch back up on that. So our esthetician helps us with these things with different modalities, whether it's our OxyVerb, which is our aquadermabrasion device that she does, or microneedling with platelet-rich plasma, all these cool things that we can do to help grow. So she's really grown the practice and grown her aspect of it. I see us growing with more of that and more of people running our energy devices, our lasers to help resurface the skin. Also individuals helping us. I do a lot of injections myself. I'm a advanced injector of fillers and dermal fillers. We do fat grafting, we do Sculptra, all those things. I love teaching. I teach people how to do these advanced techniques so that things look natural and not overdone. So those are really important. So I want to teach and train injectors to be doing this, because when I'm busy in surgery, I want fillers to be done by our nurses and our estheticians doing our lasers and skincare. So that's a great way to grow. And then I mentioned I'm a face and neck surgeon. We could grow to have a breast and body surgeon, which is a great relationship, and then just continue to grow the practice that way.
Got it. So when you think about, I think when most people think about plastic surgery, they think Hollywood, and kind of, you keep talking about being overdone and it needs to be, properly natural. How does it get that out of control where people are going absolutely insane when it comes to, the cosmetic plastic surgery?
It's a great question. Great plastic surgery should look natural. It should look like you, but a refreshed version of you. I think it looks great when we want to make meaningful change, right? We want to make those changes that bother people. If people have excess skin under their neck, we want to tighten that. If people have a nose that they're unhappy with, that feel is not in harmony with the rest of the face, we want to reshape that. If people can't see because their eyelids are droopy, we want to lift that. So all these things that we want to do to improve people's appearance, but naturally. And that's an art. And there are ways to do it to make it look more natural. And I think what happens is people go down a road where they keep on trying to tweak things. Or if you are, if you're in your 70s and you say, I want to look like I'm 20, it's not going to look natural. It's not going to look good. And I think that's where people get into trouble. Yeah. The other thing is really understanding the anatomy while we're young and what happens to the anatomy when we age. And as a plastic surgeon, I understand all those layers because I dissect through those layers as I'm going through surgery. And sometimes I think, not to say anything wrong with any aesthetics or injectors, I think a lot of them do a wonderful job. But if you only have fillers, they actually teach that fillers can lift. Fillers are jelly, right? Hyaluronic acid, they give volume. They do a great job of volume, in my opinion. But in my opinion, they really don't lift. But if you add enough filler to the face and inflate it, you'll get lift, but you would create this abnormal looking face. That's what people are seeing, the cushion face or the pumpkin faces, right? That's not a good look. But people feel happy because the cheek lifted. That's not what they needed. They needed a facelift probably, or some other modality that can actually lift. And there are some non-surgical options that can do that. But having a plastic surgeon know what we can achieve non-surgically and surgically is nice, and have an honest discussion of where a patient's at and what would be the best result for them. So I think that's what happens to people is, number one, maybe misunderstanding the anatomy and maybe not having all the tools to correct the problem at hand or understanding the problem at hand, and that can create unnaturalness. Or people that get too deep into it. I will never let a patient go too far. I'll say we're done. And I actually have a patient, she's a wonderful patient, and she wants a facelift. She doesn't need a facelift yet. We're not doing it. I said, well, give me 10 more years, mate. And she's like, just not being honest with people and telling them what they need and what they don't. Because if they're already beautiful, we just want to enhance some of the things that they need. And the right tool in the right hands can make a very nice, beautiful result.
Yeah. So where does somebody typically start on that consultative process? And what is, I guess, now that you have your own practice, you have your own intake, what do you find is the best way for someone to get started on this?
Well, I mean, in terms of just meeting with us, there's a lot of information on our website at elementsplasticsurgery.com. And certainly people can call us and ask us any questions. You'll actually get a person when you call. I know that's pretty rare these days. I mean, after hours, we do have some AI assistance with helping with things. So we're current with all of that technology. But pretty soon, you're going to talk to a person on the phone. But even better, meeting with us in person. You can schedule a consultation with me to talk about things surgically, or schedule even a free consultation to speak with Sarah regarding skincare concerns, and that's our esthetician, or even a consultation with me to discuss non-surgical options or whether or not they're viable. You're not pressured into having anything done, but you can certainly have that conversation and unlock the secrets of plastic surgery with us. Talk with us. We'll tell you honestly what is available, what works, what doesn't work, and what's right for you.
Very good. Is there anything else you want the listeners to know about the practice before I wrap up today?
We are just passionate about your results. We really care about you. We really want you to be happy. We will do everything we can humanly possible to get you where we want you to be, where we want you to meet your goals, as long as those goals are realistic. And know that we are part of this journey with you together. We're part of this community. We're in it together, and we're here to help.
Perfect. Well, Vincent, thanks for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course. My pleasure.
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Community Capital. We certainly appreciate you watching. If you want to know more about Vincent and his practice, you can check out the show notes, the website. All of the information that you need to know will be in the show notes. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next week with a new one. Take care.